Music. Welcome lower back to Fox Recaps. Nowadays I'm going to provide an explanation for the film The Villagers. Launched in the year 2018. At the start of the film, we see a high school girl named Han Soo-yen taking walks down a bridge inside the middle of the night. She nervously gets into a car with a person and drives away. The scene modifications to Ji Chole center elderly boxing coach. He walks into a restaurant with a trophy that his student changed into provided for being the primary runner-up in a fit. It turns out that he changed into imagined to win the competition, but a corrupt official made the opponent win for money. Ji Cole is brief-tempered. He doesn't tolerate while people are unfair to his college students. While the reputable attempts arguing with him, he throws hands and knocks him out with a single punch. But the man turns out to be the vice president of the Boxing Association, who has the authority to prohibit Ji Cole from coaching. Ji Cole's sister is livid because this isn't always the first time he has been kicked out of incorporation for preventing. After pulling some strings, she reveals him a job as a gymnasium instructor in the rural facet of the town. Within the following scene, he is driving to the town whilst the car receives a flat tire. Whilst awaiting a tow truck to arrive, he notices a missing poster on a Be Aware board. The woman within the photo is the high faculty girl Soo-yen, who we saw at the starting of the film. A person has written a message on it, making amusing of the disappearance. Ji Cho thinks it's disgusting and attempts to erase the textual content, however handiest makes it worse. On accomplishing the city, he sees 3 excessive school ladies bullying a person. The sufferer is Eugene, the lacking woman's pleasant buddy, who is mad on the bullies for drawing on her posters. When she confronts them, the bullies claim that they did not do it, but it's obtrusive that they do now not need Soo-jun to go back. Ji Cole attempts to separate them, but the women in Flip ask him to thoughts his own commercial enterprise. Following that, he meets his former pupil and a police officer, Dong Soo. He welcomes Ji Cole into the town and suggests him round. Then we see Eugene visit Soo-young's home to satisfy her grandmother. It's Miles discovered that Soo-yen's handiest own family is her grandmother, who's concerned to loss of life approximately her disappearance. She, and also Eugene, are also the best ones who are actively searching for Soo-yen. While the police barely paintings on the case, Eugene is going to the rooftop and reminisces about her time with Soo-yen. She unexpectedly recollects that Soo-yen used to paintings component time at a club. On doing some digging, she receives her hands at the club's card and makes a decision to head there to look at. Day after today is Ji Cho's first day at paintings. The major introduces him to his colleagues and stations him beside the artwork trainer named Ji Sung Along. Being the fitness center teacher, he is also assigned because the scholar dean the foremost tasks him to accumulate lunch costs from the scholars. Ji Cole asks them for money throughout the lunch break, but not one of the girls obliged to do as advised. He reveals Eugene at the manor, however she also dismisses him. A while later, Jickle notices her jumping over the wall and skipping faculty. He follows in the back of her to the market, but gets distracted via a claw system. For the first time in his existence, Jickle wins a filled toy and is thrilled. Elsewhere, Eugene sees an election marketing campaign being held for a powerful baby kisser named Mr. Kim. Unbeknownst to most of the public, he's a corrupt and evil man. She ignores the marketing campaign and goes to the club where Soo-yen used to work. She asks human beings around if they visible Su Yan, however, does not get a definite answer. The membership proprietors threaten her to get out and are about to get handsy while Ji Cole arrives and rescues her. He also advises her to live out of the case because the police ought to be running on it. Later that night time, he drops her off at domestic and returns lower back to his rental. When Eugene is on my own, a stranger follows in the back of her and tries to abduct her. Someplace else, Ji Cole notices that she's left her cellular cell phone in the automobile and is going back to return it. He comes throughout. The kidnapper, who runs away on seeing that he is approximately to be stuck. Ji Cole brings Eugene to the health facility and makes an legitimate criticism to the police. However, whilst the police leader is informed that Eugene is Su Yan's friend, he tries to push aside the case. It is nearly as though he's looking to hide something about Su Yan's disappearance. Later, Ji Cho talks to his police buddy Dong Su approximately Su Yan's case and discovers the police haven't even filed it formally, but they think that she's a runaway who went to some town to avoid obligations. Jekyll knows that it can't be actual and makes it his venture to find out what precisely happened to Su Yan. He goes to her home and meets her grandmother. If she writes a proper letter to the police station and signs and symptoms a consent form, the police will don't have any matter but to report a missing document. The plan works and Dong Su documents the case for them. Ji Cole also does a few digging approximately the case across the college. He is told that Su Yan became the worst student they ever had. She was absent for half of the year and became considered a lunatic. The trainer indicates he live out of her case for his own true. Eugene hears them communicate approximately her pal and is furious. She pulls Ji Cole apart, insisting that all people is lying to him to hide the real motive of Su Yan's disappearance. Ji Troll doesn't know who is telling the fact. Earlier than leaving, Eugene asks him what he could have completed if Su Yan became his daughter. The query clears his thinking, making him sign up that even if Su Yan is a runaway, she wishes to be found. Following that, Ji Cho unearths a gaggle of girls smoking inside the toilet. He appears around for the packets of cigarettes, but as an alternative unearths a hidden digital camera in one of the stalls. He right away is going to the foremost to tell him of the situation. The major would not provide him a chance to talk and desires him to live out of Su Yan's case. The comment makes Ji Cole no longer need to inform him approximately the camera. Hence, he brings it again and looks at its content himself. It turns out that the digicam becomes set by means of the artwork trainer Ji Quickly, who happens to be stationed proper by way of his table. Ji Cole goes to call him out for being a pervert. However, unearths out that he's already left for home, taking the possibility he is going through Ji Sun's laptop and is amazed to see textual content messages between him and Su Yan. The night she went lacking, she had texted him to pick her up from the bridge. It's miles evident that he is aware of something approximately the case. Jekyll without delay calls his police pal. However, he does not select up. Then he calls Eugene and asks her wherein she is. She turns out to be in a car with Ji Sun, who provided to take her home. Jekyll secretly tells her everything he discovered about Jisung and asks her to be careful. She cleverly makes Jisung inform her wherein they are going and texts the location to Ji Chul, so he may want to discover her without difficulty. Then she notices that Jisung's key ring looks just like the one Su Yan used to own. She asks him about her, however is knocked out with a punch. When she opens her eyes, she's on his bedroom ground, tied and gagged. She sees that Ji Sung has Su Yan's telephone in a cupboard before he can do her any damage. Ji Cole arrives and forcefully breaks into the residence. Ji quickly tries to prevent him, however, is unsuccessful in opposition to the former countrywide boxing champion. He's punched to the ground and tied. He begs Ji Cole to now not report him due to the fact his career might be over. However, Ji Chul does not care. He asks the pervert approximately Su Yan, however he claims to realize not anything about her disappearance. In keeping with him, Su Yan called him to select her up from the membership that night. He become writing her domestic while she got a name from a person else and requested to be left at the gasoline pump. She said someone else became coming to get. So Jisung drove domestic without wondering a good deal of it. A couple of minutes later he felt uncomfortable leaving a girl by myself at night time, but whilst he again to get her, she turned into already lacking. He located her telephone on the street and saved it. Aside from that, he claims to know nothing. Soon Ji Sung is thrown in jail for his misbehavior. However, the police leader still refuses to trust that Su Yan became abducted, even if Ji Cole insists they have to work at the case harder. He dismisses the communique. After Ji Cole leaves, we see the leader calling a person and asking them to be cautious. This proves that there may be a person else involved inside the kidnapping, and the leader is supporting them. At faculty, the predominant calls Ji Cole to his workplace and fires him for taking too much interest in Su Yan's case. It's far clear to Ji Cole that everyone in the city is trying to hide what befell to her earlier than he can think about the next pass. His police friend Dong Su calls him to a area immediately. On arriving, Ji Cole sees Su Yan's lifeless body being escorted into an ambulance. Eugene breaks down crying at the demise of her dearest pal. Ji Cole is familiar with that the killers ought to be targeting Eugene as properly due to the fact she is the most important hazard for them at the instant. They go to the medical institution to satisfy Su Yan's grandmother, who's ill. Her condition receives worse while she is informed of her granddaughter's death. Some other place, Dong Su overhears his superior speaking, and